Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we're getting into another Lego set. This is a Jurassic World Dominion set 76944, the T-Rex Dinosaur Breakout. Now, this is a bit of an older set, but it was on sale for Black Friday. So I will try to post this up right away as soon as I can, even though right now we're actually in Saturday. The sale is actually still on at the time that I'm recording this. So hopefully it will stay within to that time of Cyber Monday. But I purchased this set because I bought it for my kids. My kids love dinosaurs. I wanted to buy them a dinosaur set for a while, but at the same time, when it comes to Lego, you can see the 4 Plus back there. Some of the sets were had a lot of pieces, which are fine, but I know that my kids were going to particularly break it all to pieces if I put together like some kind of 500-piece set. So I think that this is actually really good for little kids. The problem is the value at $40. um, I don't know if $40 was the discounted price versus the um, standard price. I think the standard price is supposed to be $50, and I think $40 is what it's always advertised on Amazon. I'm going to put a link in the description down below. For Black Friday, it went down to $27, 27 and some change. So at that point, I think it made the set have its value. Where generally speaking, I know a lot of times people will say don't go off the price, the part to price ratio of 140 pieces. For we'll say that the average price normally for this is $40, which I still think is too much. Um, but I definitely would say don't go off that 140 pieces, because you could have a speed champion set that has 250 to 300 pieces in it, and you would then just go, okay, well that just and that's about 20, sometimes somewhere between 20 and $25, and you go, well that's just a greater or better value. But the truth is that this has a lot of large pieces, um like pieces like this top plate, the bottom plate, this whole piece right here. So you got a lot of big pieces, and then you have the very large T-Rex, which as far as like a mini figure, if you want to put it in that category, it'd be like a jumbo minifigure. Obviously, you have regular minifigures of the base size, and sometimes people can value them about $5 per minifig, somewhere between $3 and $5 per minifig, if you want to look at it like that. Um, then you have the bigger minifigs that are like, say, a Hulk-like size, which I don't know what those are valued at, but we'll say hypothetically 10. Then you could get away with saying that this is probably like $15 worth in just the dinosaur himself. So I was able to put this set together really quick. And what was interesting about it, first off, I will say that when you break the components down into the way they do it in terms of um, the booklets, so they give you one booklet here that builds what you see in front of it, the little car, the T-Rex, Owen, and the little egg that goes, excuse me, in that container. Then bag two and instructions two, which brings you the helicopter, the little platform for the helicopter. The What's his title? Wildlife Guard is his title. Um, in the little fire extinguisher, and then here you have Zia, and you have that whole thing that you have there, the kind of fence rail thing. So when you look at it as three separate components, I will say, like, originally when I've viewed it before, just looking at the box, I don't kind of, for some reason, it's like putting it in the components like this makes me feel like you get a little bit more when you break it down like that. I don't know why. I guess because each booklet could have been a standalone set, and someone probably would have been fine with that. So that's how we're going to kind of take a look at everything. So here you have on the left side one, then two, then three. So here you have Owen, and he's got the little flare stick, some nice printing with a lab coat or trench coat, lab coat. Printing on the front, doesn't go around to the back side. He's got dual um, printed face, the little buggy cart, which I think is fine. It does its job. And all of these are pretty easy for someone who's like 4 plus to build. Shouldn't be a problem. Though when I put it together, my kids, instead of helping me, played with each item that I finished building as I finished building it. The T-Rex, most of you have probably seen this a lot, What I like about this is it is a affordable way to get in. I'm not even going to say affordable. Let me retract that. It is probably the most affordable way to get into a T-Rex. Not to say that it is affordable, but it is the most affordable way to get into a T-Rex. Um, because most of the time, most of the sets that have a T-Rex, even the one that kind of came along during this set, but was for like the brown T-Rex in a kind of different setting, the more adult set, if you would call it that. And it went for, I want to say, somewhere about $70. You should see it on Amazon, so about $30 more than this set. And it's not to say that it wasn't a good value; it was a better value than this set, but nonetheless, you still had to break the bank of that $70. And I think the $70 actually was when it's kind of on sale. I think the base price was normally 90. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with this head already. With this build already. You got the head movement here. It's got a ratcheted effect. The legs also have a ratcheted effect. My kids, while playing with it, were taking all the limbs and the head off and back on like you would a Lego minifigure. So I think that definitely has made it a little bit more loose. But I guess that's what it's meant for, to be played with, which is why it's a 4+ set. But this is the only green Rex. So I think that, like I said, as an entryway to get a Rex, I think it's great. And it's the first Rex I've ever had from the Jurassic Park line. I've thought about the original Jurassic Park movie sets that were released out and purchasing all of them, but right now they're not on sale low enough. It's an arm and a leg to get all of them. So it's nice to be able to finally have a T-Rex in the collection, even though this set is for my kids. And yeah, I think the size of it is great. Seeing one in person now, the size of it just works great. So then the middle set you have here, or book two, or bag two, you have the wildlife guard. And obviously he's not going to have dual printing on the face because he has a hat, but you can see his gear looks nice. And now this is your standard helicopter. I've seen this before on little fire helicopter set that I bought for my kids a couple of years back. It's nice they have the little wildlife badges or decal on it. Everything inside this is, nothing's going to be stickers. Everything's print. You got the lamp here, the way they did the lamp, so that's cool. Little reinforcement for the propeller. You have the standard door, which always comes on these things. It's a brick build, obviously, but how they do that kind of setup. But it gives you a decent amount of room. You can take the egg from here and throw that in the back, or you can throw extra people in the back. It's definitely, even though it's a very simple build, it's actually quite roomy for what it is. But it's your lowest level type of helicopter you'll find in Lego sets, obviously, because it's made for 4+. So that's the standard that 4+ does, which is this general, like, giant mold piece. But I think it's fine for the 4+. So that part makes it great. It makes you feel like you get a lot, in terms of their larger pieces. So you're getting a full helicopter, even though it's not a lot of pieces. And then the helipad, I think, actually is pretty nice because you can also park the car underneath here. Um, Obviously, you can land the helipad on it like that, which is cool. You have the ladder to simulate them climbing up to the helipad. If you want, you could always put the ladder on the other side. That way, it's like you climb up to the side and then you come to the side of the helicopter like that. And then the last piece here, we have Zia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She comes with the trank. There are a couple extra pieces, but one of the extra pieces was an extra trank, and I just threw it up top on the build because why not? So here you can see she's wearing some kind of music t-shirt underneath. He has dual printing on the face, a little bit of back printing. So she's cool. And then you have this set up here. And let me just change the angle a little bit so we can get a little better sense of how this works. So these two right here are only attached by 2 studs on that side and 2 studs on that side. So out of a 6 stud long wall. So it comes off pretty easy. So these are meant to like fall down if you have the T-Rex rampaging through, which is why it's called the T-Rex, excuse me, Dinosaur Breakout. And then here is supposed to simulate the electric wires with the electric little sign on it. It's not a fully enclosed thing. So if a person wanted that vibe, you're not necessarily getting that. I think that the value of this set at the $40 price is okay. It's not great. There are better sets, but like I said, it's the only one you're gonna be able to get a T-Rex in. So like in that aspect, it's like I've seen other sets that are $40 that give you less than this in terms of just actual material of things, not necessarily part counts, but like actual functioning, fully, a playable things. This gives you three separate groupings of things to play with. So, and each group has multiple aspects to play with in themselves. So I think you do kind of get a lot, but at a sale price, this is really great. I think at $30, this is definitely, that's the sweet spot. 30, 35 to me, I think should have been the regular price for this. 30 is a great deal. Less than 30, I definitely would say jump on it for your kids. This little piece right here, you have is like the little station, the look away station. Now there's no thing up here for them to like, play with like a computer thing or anything like that. But nonetheless, you got the walkie talkie. You have a spot here to put the extra trank if you want to. You got the little chicken bone to tempt the Rex. And like I said, even though it's not complete in terms of fully enclosed, you could do something to the effect of, maybe so you could spin that like that. You could take the helipad and, you know, maybe put it on this angle here. And then you've got some sense of closure, not completely, but obviously if you wanted to, you could you could actually, I think that the T-Rex would actually be facing this way. That kind of makes more sense to some degree, or at least this tower turned around that way. But you would with Lego, you could obviously build up, a little bit more around it. So that's not even really bad. And the truth is too, at the sale price that this is, and I just thought about this right now, if you bought two of these, you could then combine them to make a full enclosure. You'd have and the things that are repeating other than the figures, this figure is fine to be repeated. But the other figures, other than that, um, which you could probably then if you had an extra one, you could swap Owen's face with the guards, face or whatever the case is, just kind of mix things up. Um, but for the most part, other than those figures, everything else repeating itself is not a bad deal to then combine and make it like a fully enclosed set. And the fact that you would then also have double of everything, that's like not a big deal. What's wrong with having two little go-kart cars, two helicopter pads on each end? So I think it definitely comes into play where it actually works pretty nice. Uh, with that being said, you guys are gonna try to keep this short as possible. We already kind of rambled on a bit. It's definitely worth it if you can catch it on sale. As always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys